This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. It's a very special episode today, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. And coming up in our second segment, we'll also take a look at that ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and in fact, the trading week, and we're turning to Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. Kaden, we'll start with the grains. How did we end up this week?
Yeah, first of all, boys, if I'm not mistaken, happy show 300. I think I was on the 100 as well, so I feel pretty special. But core market is starting off overnight at about 7 this morning. Corn was up double digits. The open kind of sold off and spent the day clawing back, but still going to close up about 13 or so. So another good day in the core market, really. Weekly reversal. If you look at it on a weekly chart, we traded lower than last week, and we're going to close higher than we did last week as well. So certainly not a bad look for the core market going forward. Beans are up double digits overnight as well, kind of sold off, going to close either side of even, maybe up a penny or two. But core market kind of the star of today.
You know, and we've been seeing, at least here in Iowa, we've been seeing some of the rains come to some of these drier areas, which have been putting a lot of pressure, upward pressure on the markets while we were dry. But now seeing some of that rain, haven't seen a whole lot of that downward pressure yet. Is it just kind of a wait and see to see how pollination turns out?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. We got a lot of times you hear in the market, buy the rumor and sell the fact. I just feel like the market was so caught on a drought happening. Then when it didn't happen, it just kind of overcorrected almost to the downside. I think you're right. We're going to kind of spend, I wouldn't be surprised, most of this month kind of trading sideways in a range, making sure that, like you said, pollination goes well. I think forecasts maybe have turned just a touch drier, but really, I think, in my opinion, the upside still may be a little bit limited. I think there's probably more downside risk for a producer, but yeah, I think you're spot on. I think we'll kind of flounder around here for a little bit, maybe for the rest of July, and kind of get a feeling of pollination and then go from there.
And now I know a couple of weeks ago, Illinois had that derecho come through. Now I know it wasn't quite as strong as what we saw in Iowa, but you also got it earlier in the year than we did, where we lost a lot of acres. What do you guys see from storm damage? Has a lot of that corn stood back up, or has there been a lot of damage? What are you guys seeing over there?
Yeah, to be quite honest, I haven't seen any corn down that stayed down. The only trouble I've seen out of that storm was there was some hail with it even before it. So the fields that got pretty good size hail certainly got kind of whipped around. But yeah, all the corn that was kind of laying really was back up by that weekend. So like you said, came early enough that corn wasn't too tall. And we really, and it's, at least in my area, and I've been hauling beans to Decatur and been up north into St. Louis, I haven't seen any corn. Laying flat.
All right. Well, now we know that livestock has been kind of watching what corn markets have been doing. I know cattle was also waiting to see if any cash action happened here at the end of the week. Did any of that materialize? What are we looking at going into that livestock side of things? Let's start with cattle.
Yeah, cattle really starting on Wednesday, feeder cattle up strong, making all-time highs again, kind of reversed post-WASDE, came down with corn, down again yesterday. Feeder cattle kind of rebounding today. Live cattle up even more, up over $3. So cattle complex as a whole, I think I said yesterday, I'm really not too worried about it yet, especially kind of when you look at seasonals and supply changing year over year. Like I said, we had a rough couple of days yesterday and the day before, but didn't do any damage technically. And I think, on the fundamental side, that supply demand is still strong enough that you'll see the cattle market pretty well hang in there, kind of like it has been, in my opinion.
So what about on hogs? I mean, they've, if we had talked a month or more ago, we would have thought this never would happen, but they had a good day yesterday. Did they continue that today, or what did they see there?
Very quiet today. Going to close pretty well unchanged. What am we looking at here? About 30 cents lower. We've been $1 higher, $1 lower, closing pretty even. So like you said, there was a span where just hogs were down every single day. I don't know. It felt like 4 or 5 months. Like you said, we've clawed that back and then some. Been a real nice tree, and I feel it's kind of the same way like I do with cattle. Haven't seen anything technically that makes me real concerned to downside. We'll just continue to trade, hopefully continue to make new highs.
Now, of course, we are in the midst of grilling season, so that demand for our meat products is still pretty high. I mean, is there a chance that after the unofficial end of summer with Labor Day weekend and stuff, do you think that some of that could back off on that demand and that could affect prices at all?
I think it certainly could, and really, if you look at the deferred contracts, I think you probably got a little bit of that baked in. It's not a huge secret. Obviously, when the end of the summer comes, I think that pullback in demand somewhat expected. But yeah, I don't think it'd be too out of line to think, once you kind of get out of August that you see demand start pulling back. Although I still think we're tight enough supply wise that we're not going to get crushed too bad.
All right. Well, Kaden, try again. All right. Well, Kaden, we thank you so much for the information. As always, if folks want to get in touch with agmarket.net and talk to you guys about what kind of options they have available, how do they get in touch with you all?
Yes, sir. Just go to our website, agmarket.net. You can reach anyone from our team there, as well as try out 30 days of what we offer to clients and see if it's the right fit for you.
And that was Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and run down those market numbers for you. That comes to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. September corn was up 13 at 506.5. December new crop up 13.25 at 513 3/4. August soybeans down 4.5 at 14.80 1/4. November new crop up a penny, 13.70 3/4. Soy meal up $1.50 at 423.80 per ton. Soy oil down 64 cents at 65.05. Chicago wheat for September up 21 3/4 at 661.5. Minneapolis wheat up 22.5 at 884 1/4. Kansas wheat up 23 cents at 829 even. September oats down 2.5 at 404 1/2. August live cattle were up $3.27 at 180.17. Feeder cattle were up $1.65 at 246.65. Lean hogs down 37 cents at 101.97. Pork cutouts up a dime at 110.75. Class 3 milk down 2 cents at 13.82.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman, joined, of course, with Riley Smith and Mark Magnuson. Now, normally, the three of us are not on at the same time, but this is also a special episode 300. A lot of TV shows don't make it that far. Not that we're a TV show, but we're still, a pretty good media thing going.
That's true. And I think we can both speak to we did not anticipate making it all the way to episode 300 when we started.
We figured by now something would have probably changed a little bit, or we would have modified it some. But, today kind of going back and thinking about it, boy, how things have changed in those 300 episodes. Now, for those that don't know, and Mark, you weren't here at the time we were doing it, but we practiced for almost a full month doing this show before we put it out live. And that first day, we knew nothing about how we were going to put it together. We had all the elements, but we really learned in a hard way to set up a template, because it took us, 4.5, 5 hours to get it rendered down at a complete show.
We were here until 7 p.m. just editing the first episode, and just to get it out and have something done.
Yeah.
And then
took us 5 hours, but then now we're down to now it takes us about 25 minutes, generously, not counting making the content, but 25 minutes. So a lot to be said for a template, Riley, a lot to be said for learning the shortcuts that we've learned along the way as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I think another crazy thing is that it was episode 80 when Mark came on.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already been here for
200,
2/3.
Or 2/3 as well. Yeah.
It feels like, so long ago, or even not that long ago, that we brought him on in the first episode, and now here we are.
Well, and Mark, I'll ask you next, because honest to God, the day you came to kind of learn about the network and see if this is what you wanted to, had to be probably, and Riley, maybe you can back me up, that had to be the single worst day for filming this program. Like, anything that could go wrong went wrong all at the same time. I mean, it took us like 16, 20 takes to get things going, and that was even pretty generous. And I'm surprised after that, Mark even decided he still wanted to come here to the network, watching us do this backwards episode of AMPM. But Mark, now you've been on it for 2/3 of it at least. And I mean, from the beginning for you, I mean, you kind of came on right before the fair. I mean, you become a seasoned veteran of the show too already.
Yeah, we've put out a lot of episodes now, up to 300. And like you guys said, when you were back at the 80 range about. I could tell that you had gone through some growing pains to get to the process of where you were, and you were much more comfortable putting the show together. And we've kind of been able to grow on that and streamline the process and make it easier to get that editing process done and just putting the episodes all together. There's a lot of pieces that you have to fit in together.
And, there's a lot of behind the scenes what people don't notice is, of course, when we're doing this show, there's always somebody sitting at a desk about 15 feet away from us doing the production work. What you see is us here, what we're looking at is a camera, and we actually have a TV on the other side of us that gives the teleprompter that we have available if some of us need it or want a quick reminder of what we're doing, but we also can flip back and forth to see what we're doing. And so, it's been quite the interesting setup, but it's, we've even grown. I mean, Riley, you and I, for sure, I don't think we even look at the teleprompter anymore. Mark just has it for bullet points, I think, so he remembers where he's left off. But, otherwise, to think about that we can go through this whole show without even thinking about it anymore kind of is quite a interesting feat as well.
Yeah, to be honest, Mark probably could have not looked at the script for longer, but it was always fine just to have it up there. And sometimes I wish I had it up there as well. But, there's so many times of looking at this setup, and it's such a modest setup. Because, I mean, we just have a few, basically TikTok lights. That's what we have up here. Just, nothing too glamorous or anything. TV on like a makeshift setup in front of us. And we have to look over the camera to see anything on the screen behind us. So it's definitely not a high budget situation. When I was going to college, we had a $500,000 setup.
Right.
Is what we were messing with for TV stuff. So to bring that here and kind of try to emulate it, I don't know, I think we've done a pretty good job.
I was going to say, and we've been able to take it on the road. I mean, we had growing pains right there at the state fair with that same television sitting on a tent wall, so we could see the agmarket.net folks, which we also want to make sure we thank, because they've been so instrumental in making this work for us to do this. But to do that, to be on the road, to sending cuts from Washington, being able to help you, be able to log in and check things out from Brazil when I first got down there that time. There's a lot to be said for what we can do and how mobile this is for as small of a setup as it is. It does serve us well to be able to move it if we have to.
And that's what I think is cool about what you guys started as well. Doing a daily show, you have to do it every single day. So when we go to an event and we're in another state, or we are at the state fair, we're still working on AMPM each day while we're putting out the rest of our content. So we kind of always in the back of our mind are thinking about the episode for that day and what we're going to be putting into the episode and what we're going to use from maybe some of the content we've gathered for that day or the days leading up to it. So it's always really fun to try and be kind of doing that producing aspect, I guess, every single day of building the show.
I remember because we started not too long before World Pork Expo last year.
Yep.
And going through World Pork Expo and getting everything out, there might be some of you who remember that there was a day where the episode probably didn't get posted until 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And that was because I forgot my laptop charger. It was dead. And we had to figure out how in the world we were going to get everything done and also get everything else covered. And then I think too, like you said, Mark, being out of state, going to Commodity Classic, how smooth was that?
Right.
We've gotten to that point where we can be pretty automatic with it. And
we know
wherever we are.
We know whose turn it's going to be to host that show usually in the beginning. So that person just says, hey, I got to take about 10 minutes, go outside and do the cuts. Like I did in Orlando for Commodity Classic. I'm like, hey, I got to run outside, do the cuts. I'll come right back in and go back to it. So, I mean, we've gotten very efficient. Now, I wish we had blooper reels to show you. I mean, we do have one, but unfortunately, Avery, our intern from last summer, no longer with us and has moved on. So I don't want to embarrass her too much. But we've definitely, I mean, even just today filming the program, there's been definitely some bloopers in there. I said some things that slipped. No, some of those words do not ever see the light of day. But the thing is, it doesn't go off without a hitch, but it's always been good. And I think I've been blessed with this idea to have two good people on here as a support system to make this go so we can get to 300 episodes. Yeah, there have been a few days where the internet's crashed and we aren't able to put it together. And after a while of fighting, we'll be like, we're going to have to cancel the show today because it's just not able to be done. But for the most part, we haven't had too many hiccups. We've been able to pull it off. And I think all in all, it's been a great testament to what this network does and the work you guys do to help. And we've really got a good product here. And we thank all of you for watching as well to help us get to this 300 episode mark. So, or not Mark, but we'll go to Mark. Any final thoughts you want to say here on this 300th episode?
I would just like to say thank you to everybody that's been available for interviews and been able to help us out whenever we've asked, hey, do you have time for a quick interview, quick chat? And been part of the show, and then also to the agmarket.net team. They are, of course, a great resource for us. Go to them for markets every day. And I know you guys as well feel this way. We learn a lot from them about what they tell us about what's happening in the markets, what we can kind of expect to see, and what we're learning from that day's market action as well.
Riley, what about you? Your final thoughts?
Well, I can say confidently that when I interned here, I never thought that I would be a video journalist doing this kind of stuff every day and working on that. Because when I was interning here, we were doing, pretty modest, just radio segments and going out and doing interviews like that, taking a few pictures maybe.
And a few video features, but not a lot.
Video features, but not a lot. And now every single day we're putting out new video stuff. That's like the top of my priority list anymore, is making sure I have enough video interviews to put all that in there. And if anything, look at how much we've expanded our own repertoires.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's what I would echo too. That we've been able to really build this. It's been a great show. I think enough patting ourselves on the back, but it's been a fun run, and we're going to keep it going for another 300 episodes at least. So we, of course, thank all of you, the viewers. We thank agmarket.net. We thank all of our guests, as Mark said, too. We've had a lot of great guests over this past year and plus a few months to help make this go. We've had people from the beginning that wanted to be a part of this, and so we thank them as well. And we thank you for watching this program again for 300 episodes. With that, I think it's time to take a look at that Ag Weather Outlook. Well, it's been sunny, a little muggy, a little bit warm, but tolerable out there for a mid-July day. All in all, not much to really shake a stick at. It's looking like we might see a little bit of thunderstorm activity here scattered throughout the state, throughout the day, and even into tonight and possibly tomorrow. Now, they're also talking we may see smoke start rolling back into northern parts of the state. How far south that will get will remain to be seen. In fact, let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. Well, looking at the forecast for today, we saw mostly sunny skies to start. There was those chances of widespread scattered thunderstorms throughout the state. Highs were mainly in the 80s. Now, tonight, look for partly cloudy skies to continue. Still some scattered thunderstorm chances running around out there. Lows will be anywhere from the upper 50s to the mid to upper 60s. And now tomorrow, those thunderstorms are going to start tapering off to the east. Mostly sunny skies after that, but we'll start to see some smoke start drifting in from the north again, from the Canadian wildfires, so be ready for that. Highs anywhere from basically mainly in the 80s here for tomorrow. Now looking at the affiliate weather map, we see tomorrow Cherokee will be partly cloudy with a chance of that smoke rolling in 82. Shenandoah, Albia, Waterloo, all sunny in 86. Des Moines, sunny in 87. Clinton, partly cloudy, thunderstorms tapering off, and a high also of 87 degrees. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been our Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we have ended the 300th episode of Ag Matters PM. Don't forget, you can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and on our YouTube channel. In fact, if you want, go to youtube.com right now. Start at the beginning of the Ag Matters PM and watch all 300 episodes. You might be done in time for Halloween, or at least for harvest, more or less. You can also find our next episode on my Brazil series that just came out earlier today. We've only got 2 more episodes of them. If you haven't been catching those, of course, go back to our YouTube channel and you can watch those from the very beginning as well. Don't forget about our free Twice Daily Market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Riley Smith and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.